everybody, welcome back to Dad Talk Today. I am your host, Eric Carroll, and we are live in Washington, D.C. at CPAC 2020. And right now, we have somebody that's made quite a splash, not only here at CPAC, but on the news lately, Mr. Sheriff Jenkins. How you doing, my man?
Doing great. Great to be here.
I got to take a picture with him the other day, and I put it up on my profile, and one of my friends that actually lives in your county, he's like, that's my sheriff, Mr. Mike Brown Jr., so I want to give a shout out to him. But Sheriff Jenkins, something happened here recently where they've been wanting to attack the Second Amendment rights inside of your county. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about what's going on?
Sure. Starting back after the new legislature was elected, the Democrats took over and submitted bills to restrict weapons, everything from the so-called assault weapons, the scary weapons is all they are, the way they look. High-capacity magazines, they wanted red flag laws and restricting to one handgun a month and some other laws. I took a stance early December, went public and said that if they were going to remove the so-called assault weapons, high-capacity magazines, and things that are in common use, which the Supreme Court had already ruled on, if they were going to make that gun grab, that I would swear in thousands of citizens as reserve deputy sheriffs so they could keep those weapons. And
you're legally allowed to do that.
Yes, and they could have those available to them as their weapons available for call-up as a deputy sheriff. There's certain things that go with that background and so forth to get them. It's not just a blanket oath for anyone that wants to. But that said, then came the pushback. The representatives at the state started to threaten to take our insurance for our officers. They went so far later on to offer a $10,000 raise for all the sheriffs. That didn't work. Bribery is not going to work either. They threatened to take the 3% pay increase for our deputies, and sadly they stooped to that level, and they actually took it in the last 2 weeks. And when they did, they had the gall to stand, and one gentleman lies to the public on the floor of our legislature and says we're taking the 3% out because the budget won't allow it. And they turn right around immediately after that, and Senator Stanley approaches one of them and asks, and he says, we took it because your sheriffs came to our committee meetings and opposed our laws. And because of that, they took the raises from our deputies. These deputies do not set policy. We do as sheriffs. They have no choice but follow it because they're appointed and serve at our discretion. And to attack the men and women that work on the street every day is unconscionable. It is below the lowest level I thought they could stoop to, and they had gone pretty low. So they've taken the raises away from our deputies, and then they follow it up. Senator Howe, her brainstorm is now to propose a bill. It's out there in black and white for next session, where she is saying she will take the pensions and benefits from sheriffs such as myself who are taking a stand against an unconstitutional law. Now, you know, I've been in this 30 years. I've earned my pension, but if that's the role you want to take, have at it. Take it if you'd like. But I think we're going to see this state's going to flip back red in such strong force they will never have imagined what's going to happen, because the sanctuary counties, the resolutions they've written, over 100 quickly, we've never seen anything like that for any topic. So if they can't read the writing on the wall and know what the people are feeling and meaning right now, you know, continue down that road at your own peril, because you're coming out of office. And that's not just this year with Trump's re-election and the national stuff, but next year we're going to flip it completely. And, you know, in the meantime, the stuff's going through the courts. You know, if it's an unconstitutional law, we're going to fight it. And to those people who try to say who's a sheriff to make a statement of what's constitutional, I say let's point back to 100 years after the Civil War in a county not far from me in Virginia called Caroline County. The Loving case went to the Supreme Court. The sheriff let officers go out and arrest a couple because the male was white, the female was black, and they chose to get married. Now, if 100 years after the Civil War you don't know that's unconstitutional on the face of it, and a sheriff lets it be enforced, well, I'd say if he had stopped them, he'd be a hero. Well, he didn't, and it went to the Supreme Court. So I compare that to today. If we got a Supreme Court ruling that says weapons in common use that you can have, this AR-15 is the most common weapon owned in America, centerfire rifle that is. High-capacity magazines they call, which is a standard capacity, 15 rounds would be illegal. You would be a criminal if you owned that after they're instituting the law. I've got over 5,000 citizens in my county that carry concealed carry permits, and most of them carry weapons that would be now outlawed with that magazine capacity they're proposing. So go down that road if you choose, and you certainly are. But they have heard from us loud and clear. The everyday man that wasn't politically active, maybe hadn't voted in years, is wide awake, and they didn't all show up in Richmond. That they call it 22,000 crowd. I think it was more than that, but it would have been double that had they not had the fear mongers saying that there was going to be violence or this or that. And they still, even with that, can't wake up and realize that people have had enough of this overreach and this far left-wing agenda.
Oh, my man. And I think Sheriff Jenkins, what gets me more than anything right now, as we progress and we lose values that our nation and our family and everybody's held so near and dear, the importance of speaking up for what you believe in and not letting them run over you. Could you tell everybody in that camera the importance of speaking out and saying, we're not going to take it?
I can't stress it enough. This is not something I ever thought I would be in the spotlight. Didn't think this would come to this in my lifetime. But I will say, I've been contacted by sheriffs all over the nation. I'm currently going around state to state as invited to speak on the issue and help as many people as I can to give advice and my 2 cents. I certainly have been humbled by the outpouring of support, the number of people who are interested in what Virginia's doing. The eyes are on Virginia. I'll be traveling from Florida to Texas to Michigan to speak on this subject, and more states and sheriffs around the country are looking at it, because the truth is, we're not just the oldest law enforcement agency, our head in the in local government and so forth from down through history, but we are the ones directly elected by the people. Police chiefs, not knocking any of them, they're just different scenarios. Police departments answer to city councils, and of course the will of the council is what prevails. Sheriffs are elected directly by the people. We are able to take stands and be that last line of defense against these unconstitutional laws and say what we will or will not allow to be enforced. Support your sheriff. If your sheriff is not supportive of our Constitution and Second Amendment as strongly as you feel they should, then speak out and let them know, and let it be known at the ballot box if need be. Your Commonwealth attorneys, prosecutors that are elected by the people, another great start to talk with them and let your voice be heard across the country. And I'll say this, I've said this before, Congress can go down the same road in a heartbeat. Look at what they just tried to do to our president. If they try the same method as in Richmond with these gun bills in Congress, which they will, they have before, when they do, it takes one sheriff in every state to take a stand such as me, and we can push back on whatever Congress does, because I don't have to just swear in deputies from Culpeper. I can swear in citizens from anywhere in the Commonwealth.
That's right. Sheriff, tell everybody about where they can find you if they want to keep up on what's going on.
Well, I have a website, of course, for the Sheriff's Office. I have a blog or my own site, scotthjenkins.com. Our Facebook page, of course, Culpeper Sheriff's Office as well. We've heard from people, continue to hear from people all over the nation, and I apologize that, we are kind of inundated with mail and snail mail and emails and other things, but we appreciate the support. If you want information, questions answered, anything I can do to help, I'm always happy to help anyone that I can in this cause. So the information's there online, and feel free to contact us.
Well, Sheriff, good luck, my man, and keep standing for what's right, and we applaud you.
Thank you.
Thank you, my man. Everybody stick around. We'll be right back.